This is how I cut strips. The first thing we do is we take the fabric. I always pre-wash my fabric and then I press it. And we fold it, whether you pre-wash or not, we fold it the same way. This is the fold that as it comes off the bolt. And then you match the two selvage edges and you bring it up to the fold and then you press it. And you might notice some extra wrinkles in here, some bigger wrinkles. I don't worry about getting every single wrinkle out right now. Just make sure it's nice and flat. As we use the strips and we keep pressing the seams, those little creases will come out. So I don't worry about those right now as long as they're flat and it lays flat and you get an accurate cut. The first thing we do is trim off the edge. To trim off the edge, I use the horizontal lines on the mat. I line up this fold with the horizontal line and I find a vertical line that's close to where I want to trim the edges. Then I just take my ruler and I'm going to put it on this line right here and then cut. And I'm lining up the edge of the ruler on the line on the mat, and I'm also lining up the second marking on the ruler with the second marking on the mat, so you know it's not going wonky like this. So we line up the first mark, the 0, and we line up the first 1-inch line, and then we trim. And if you like to use swatches, you can use this trimming as your swatch, but it's just going to be waste right now. For this binding, I need 8 strips, and I cut my strips for binding at 2.5 inches. So we're going to cut 2.5 inches. Now I'm using the ruler, the lines on the ruler to cut, and I'm matching the 2.5 inch line on the cut edge that we just trimmed. And I'm also checking with my lines here to make sure it's still straight on this fold. And we'll cut the first one. And then cut the second. And each time we're checking the line on the ruler and the line here, the vertical line and the horizontal line. We'll just continue cutting and checking. And then continue cutting the next 4 strips. Sometimes I'll take the ruler and I'll put it on the 5-inch mark, line up the 5-inch mark here, and then check for your lines on the ruler here, and then I'll cut one at 5 inches and slide the ruler over and cut another one at 2.5 inches. So now I need one more, 2.5. And now I have my 8 strips of fabric for binding.